If the stars were made to worship, so will I.
Week 51, Day 5. We have reached a pivotal point in the history of humankind and the universe. Humankind is a horribly lost, separated from their Creator Father, spiritually dead. And God has not given them rules to keep. They've been on their own, standardless, except for their slippery consciences, which are fickle. They don't know how to respond to unmerited favor, grace, because they have not been forgiven. The time has come for a paradigm shift in how God will deal with them. He is going to reinstitute rules and commandments and laws for his chosen people to follow. But he first asks them if they are up to it. Can they obey his voice and keep his covenant? And they answered, as a whole, yes, we will. You know what? That was sincere. They really wanted to be right with God, and they would subsequently, at times, seem to be able to pull it off. One example of that comes to mind is found in Exodus chapter 38. God had given detailed instructions for the construction of his temporary earthly dwelling place, the tabernacle, and it would require lots of gold, silver, and bronze. The people brought their offerings and easily met the demand. According to the numbers given, they offered up 2,000 pounds of gold, 7,000 pounds of silver, and 5,000 pounds of bronze. Exodus 38, 24 through 29. They had a heart for giving. But there's a problem, a very big problem. Those righteous acts wouldn't last, and they wouldn't have solved the sin problem anyway. Look at this. But we are all like an unclean thing, and all our righteousnesses are like filthy rags. We all fade as a leaf, and our iniquities, like the wind, have taken us away. Isaiah 64, verse 6. Wow, even our best intentions to please God are horribly inadequate in his eyes. He is that holy, and his standards that high. So with the law came a temporary fix, as we've discussed previously. The sacrifice of animal blood for our human sins. Certainly less than perfect, but a very valuable lesson had to be learned by humankind for the universe to see. Humankind was horribly lost and could not save themselves no matter how hard they tried. And now, even worse, they were sinning directly against God. The only way out would be a divine exchange. Jesus, who was righteous, had to become sin, and humans who were sinful had to be made righteous. For he, God, made him, Jesus, who knew no sin, to be sin for us, that we might become the righteousness of God in him. 2 Corinthians 5:21. So how should the Israelites have answered the Lord? I think they answered in the only way they could at that time, for Jesus hadn't come. Now we believers would say, yes, we will obey you, completely trusting and relying on your righteousness freely and justly given to us through your faith in your Son. Amen. Enjoy our last weekend together during this series. We finish next week.